I want of you rescuing your dog.
I don't know. I think it's very powerful what a dog can give you. Like the love is it's unconditional. I don't know. It's like it's beautiful. Why I'm getting so emotional? It's just the beginning of the podcast.
Welcome. Let's go.
You're able to break barriers through your kindness.
Treat people how you want to be treated. And this is why I try to be kind to everyone, especially to myself. And when you realize that you cannot compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20, then you save a lot of stress.
If you were to give a piece of advice, the mistakes that you made, you don't want them to make, what would it be and why?
Perfectionism doesn't exist. Pursuing perfection instead of improvement is wrong.
One thing that intrigued me was your energy. Where does this all come from?
My energy comes from the desire of wanting to do things, wanting to explore, wanting to make, wanting to meet, wanting to dance, wanting to share.
Welcome and Morians to Purely Personal Podcast. This podcast is not about getting that job. This is not about getting that promotion. This is not about starting your own business. This is about your own personal brand. When you have your brand, you can have all of these. My name is Daniel Paul. I'm a personal branding coach, fractional CMO, and a content creator. Today, we have an amazing lady in the house. She is the definition of positivity. She is the definition of joy in the room. If you want a person with a free spirit, she's the one. Welcome, Cass. Welcome to Purely Personal.
Hi, Danny. What an introduction. I feel so honored. Thank you for your time and thank you for inviting me to your space. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
You know, Cass, the first time when we met in Dubai, I was like, she's so cool. She's so stress-free. She's doing what she loves and, gets the best out of life. One thing that intrigued me was your energy. Where does this all come from?
Wow. Well, thank you for this. This energy, well, first, it's very important to mention that it's not always like this, because to be able to be like this, I need to allow myself to also feel all the other emotions, right? Sadness, being angry, and all these other emotions, right? So I think life is all about a balance, right? It's about being in balance. But my energy comes from the desire of wanting to do things, wanting to explore, wanting to make, wanting to meet, wanting to dance, wanting to share. So it comes from a thrive of wanting so much. Maybe sometimes it's a little bit too intense, but it comes from there, definitely.
So, when we first met in Dubai, and I was like, she has the energy. But then when I got to know more about you, you're able to break barriers through your kindness. And you're kind to everyone, and you're kind to the people that you meet online, to the students. How do you do this with such calm and kind manner?
Well, yes, I try to be kind with everyone because I feel that that's what the world needs, to be kind and more kindness. And I want kindness back, right? So treat people how you want to be treated. And this is why I try to be kind to everyone, especially to myself in the first place.
Since we're in the line of kindness, I want to know a little bit more about the story of you rescuing your dog. What's the story?
Oh, what a story. Today I was actually talking with my mom saying that I saved him, but he actually saved me. Well, I started my trip in Mexico with my van. It's important to say that I have a van. I traveled with my van, and this was my first trip. And I took care of my friend's dog once, like for a month. And I was like, having a dog is so cool. I want a dog too. But I really knew that it becomes a big responsibility. So I said to myself, I will get a dog whenever I feel that I'm ready to it. I have the time, I have the money, I have the thrive to take care of another like living being. And I started my trip and I said, okay, I think I'm ready to share this trip with someone. And it's not a human, right? So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to let this dog come to me. I'm going to let the universe give it to me when is the right time, is the right moment. And it's really funny because it happened it's exactly how I asked for it. I asked the universe that I wanted a dog that I could save myself, because in the past many people was like, why don't you go to a refugee, a dog's place, right, and adopt one? But I was like, no, I want to save a life. So I found him like in the road, next to like a store. Nobody knew anything about him. He was like in bones, very sick, and I was like, okay, is this the time? Is this a sign? And I was with a friend and she was like, go for it. And I also asked the universe some things about him, right? I asked the universe for him not to be a destroyer, because I imagine so many times, oh my God, imagine if I have a dog, I leave him in my van and then I come back and all the seats are gone and everything is a mess. And he has never done anything like that. Thank God. Not even in my house, not even in the van. And I also asked the universe for him to not to pee inside. He is so well at that. He never pees or poops inside the house. He's not perfect. He chases cats. He chases birds. Like, it's at the end, it's a dog. But thanks to his story, it's how I got very big in social media, because I made a video about how I rescued him. And a lot of people started following my trip after that. So I trust the universe blindly that everything is going to fall into place whenever it has to be.
You said something very beautiful. I saved him, but he saved me. That was
Yeah.
powerful. Why did you say that?
I want to cry. I don't know. I think it's very powerful what a dog can give you. Like the love is just unconditional. I don't know. It's like, it's beautiful to feel that, and I feel that he has taught me so many things. Why I'm getting so emotional? It's just the beginning of the podcast.
It's okay. It's all right.
He has taught me so many things. So I think also that's why he saved me.
That came straight out of the heart. I don't want to make you cry anymore. I just want to go back to Cass's happy times. We all know the Cass now on social media, her story, what she does, where she goes. How did Cass grow up? What were her dreams? Most importantly, how many of them have you achieved already?
Wow. Okay. Cass grew up near to the ocean. That's a big part of me, and I think that's a big part of my happiness. I grew up next to the ocean. That is beautiful. I grew up with a single mother. We struggled a lot when I was younger. Economically, it was not easy for a single woman to support a child, etc. And I think that's part of why I'm right now very hard worker, very independent, and also very free, because I saw how my mom really had to work for me to have clothes, to have food, to pay the rent, all these things that someone needs. My dreams, I always wanted to be an artist. I first I wanted to be in soap operas, in Mexican soap operas. Then I was like, no, maybe not. Then I wanted to be a dancer, and even though today I'm not a professional dancer, I'm not dancing professionally. I have done it in the past, I also have new dreams that I have achieved. Like maybe they weren't there when I was a kid, but I just recently bought a house. It literally, yeah, it's been less than a month that I'm in the new house. Uh, it's so many things that needs to be fixed. It's so stressful, but we're getting there slowly. I bought a van. I camperized my van. I started traveling in Mexico with my van. I went to Brazil when I was 20 years old to study Portuguese and to dance. And I think that's one of my biggest achievements, I think, in life. I studied communication in Rio de Janeiro. And I remember perfectly when I was choosing where I wanted to study abroad, I chose Brazil because I wanted to learn how to dance samba. And when I got to Brazil, I got the chance to perform in the carnival. I was the only foreigner in my school. I was the only white person in my school. It was very, very, yeah, it was amazing. And I did it twice. I did it in 2013 and 2015. It was beautiful. It was, I was like, yeah, I learned Portuguese. I learned how to dance samba. I got involved in the culture. And maybe these dreams were not my dreams when I was a kid. I didn't know that I wanted all these things when I was a kid. But we evolve, right? That's part of life, changing and evolving. And that's how I changed.
I know this beautiful story about you buying the house. I gave a heart because I know the story. For those who don't know the story, why is it special?
Well, it's special because I told you, right, all these struggles that we had when I was a kid. We never had a house. Like I was born in Mexico City, then moved to Acapulco when I was 4 or 5, then moved to Vallarta. And between all these cities, there were also many houses because we were always renting. So I experienced a lot of movement when I was a kid. And in November or December last year, we were living in an apartment and they told us we couldn't live there anymore because they were going to make them Airbnbs. And I was like, my mom is 72 years old. I don't want her to move again. Like, I want this to be the last time we move because it's really, really exhausting. It's a pain in the butt to move. So I said, okay, I'm gonna ask the bank for a credit and I'm gonna buy a house. And I did it.
What a beautiful feeling to be able to buy a house for a 72-year-old mom who's never had a house. She's always rented. She must have felt so proud about you.
Yeah. We're happy, we're proud.
So now we're getting into the meat of the conversation. Important question is, has the online presence affected somehow who you are today, what you do, how you see the world?
Definitely. In many, many ways, it has affected me. Some of them good, some of them not so good. Sometimes people's opinions are very painful. Sometimes you don't want to hear from a stranger what you do wrong, you know. But definitely has made me stronger. Also definitely has helped me buy this place. So I take it. And it has also helped me learn a lot. Like I always try to look the bright side of things, and I've learned so much about many things on social media, about mental health, about other countries, about even DIY things for my house, stuff like this. So I always, it's like every job, right? Either there's something that not so good, you have to go to the office, you have to be in the traffic, you have to drive, whatever. Here in this job, sometimes I need to take criticism from people I don't even know, or they don't even know me personally. But this is how life is. Not everything is black or white or black and white. It's a rainbow. There's many things, right?
It's beautiful to hear that your perception has evolved over time. But where did this whole online journey of yours start? Did you actually like, oh, I'm going to follow this strategy? Or was it like just in the moment you wanted to do this?
Well, everything started in 2016 or 17, I think, when I started to wanting to document my travels, because I started traveling when I was 18, 2011, and I loved it so much that I made everything possible to do it more often. So I started sharing with my friends my travels, and because I'm very adventurous, there was always something happening to me. I had to sleep in a train station, and things like this happened to me because this happens to me. I'm not the most organized person when traveling, so these things happened, and it was very funny, and my friends really enjoyed it. So they said to me that I should make a YouTube channel, and I did. Then I started working on cruise ships. And while working on cruise ships, I started making content about how it was to work on a cruise ship. Then I won a contest while being on board. And this contest was called the best job at sea. So basically what I need to do was making travel content for this cruise line. And I won the contest out of many people. They really liked my pictures and the way I spoke to the camera. So I won. And for 6 months, I went over maybe 12 or 13 ships all over the world. I went to Australia, around New Zealand. I went to Europe. I went to Asia, Malaysia, Thailand. I went through the Caribbean. And I didn't know a thing about making content for social media, but I started. I made content for YouTube, for Pinterest, for Snapchat, for everything, for the cruise line. And with them, I started to grow as well as a content creator. And since then, I haven't stopped. There has been periods when I have been more constant than others. COVID times were very time to me. And then just recently, maybe a year or 2 years ago, I started making short content, daily vlogs, and just trying to make my content more, easy to do, to make, because before I used to take hours and hours and weeks sometimes to make videos. And now it takes me just a couple of minutes or hours, but not like the whole day, a week. So I started to make this type of like easy, fastest content. I try always to make it valuable. I try always to be transparent and honest and funny, and I try to enjoy it as well on the way. It's not always like that, but that's how it started.
Yeah, it's beautiful to hear that how a small opportunity in a cruise ship made you a really big creator now, and people across the globe recognize you, you inspire them, and they inspire you. So now Cass has an online brand. Cass is known in many countries for what she does. Brands hire her, brands want to work with her, brands pay her. But someone who's starting today, if you were to give a piece of advice, the mistakes that you made, you don't want them to make, what would it be and why?
Okay, always stay true to yourself. There's no need to pretend to be someone else. There's no need to not to build an online personality. Just be your real personality online too, because that you can see it through the camera.
Yeah.
I would say as well, try not to be a perfectionist. As I said, I wanted to make videos, but I was like, no, I don't have the right camera. I don't have the microphone. So I didn't start until I had the right camera and the right microphone. And then it took me literally weeks to edit one video, right? I wanted to make sound effects and music and this and that. Blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to be perfect. And there's no perfect. It doesn't exist. Perfectionism doesn't exist. Pursuing perfection instead of improvement, it's wrong. Something that has
And I do agree with the point that most of the people that think, like for example, let's say a well-edited video that they see by Nas Daily or some creators, they're like, oh, I'm not going to start because I'm going to look like stupid who doesn't know how to create content. But seeing your content is super organic. You don't spend like 5 days to edit anymore. You shoot on the spot. Maybe you spend a few hours to edit them. So if I'm in that place, I have a mindset of being judged. How does one overcome that? Because that's the common problem I hear from a lot of creators.
Okay, well, now that you mentioned that, oh, I want to make a video, not like that's naily, la la. Also, a mistake that I did in the past was comparing myself to other creators. And when you realize that you cannot compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20, then you save a lot of stress. We cannot compare ourselves to Nas Daily because he has done things different. He's another person, right? Or to any other creator. How do you overcome this criticism? You never really do, you know? I still feel sometimes that, oh, what are people gonna think? What are people gonna say? But I don't care. I still do it. So it's all about what is more important. What if someone is gonna think that you look stupid, or you trying to build an online presence, going after your dreams and being transparent. It's not always easy. Sometimes I do feel like, oh, you know, but not caring is the answer. Not caring too much.
You just talked about online presence. Not everyone wants to build an online brand, but for those who wants to build an online brand, why is it important? How has your life changed after you have your own brand now?
Okay, so personal branding is how people are going to remember you when you're not in the room. What people are going to say when you're not in the room, right? So nowadays, 2024, there's thousands and thousands of creators, of people online in every platform. So what makes you different from them, right? This is why it is important to build an online brand. And how you build an online brand is posting it like your person. Example, I love pink, I love sunflowers, and I try my best to always have this combination online. And now when someone sees a sunflower, they think about me. I have a Volkswagen van, which is like the old ones, right? When someone sees one of that, they think about me. I surf. I have this persona kind of. When someone sees someone surfing, they think about me. So what makes me different from other creators? Maybe my videos are the same like them, but me, I am unique because of these things. So nowadays it is very important to try to stand out from the crowd. It's not always easy, but if you put yourself out there exactly the way you are in person, you do it online and you're original and everyone is unique. Everyone is unique because but I have nothing that makes me feel. No, there's always something that makes you different and special, but you have to put it out there. Otherwise, how are people going to know, right? It could be literally anything. You like mangoes. Oh, it's mango season. Make a party. I don't know.
Well, it's beautiful, right? Like what you said, all of these are very true. The next time I see someone traveling in a van, I'm like, oh, Cass does that, right? The next time I see someone, rescuing a dog, oh, Cass has a dog. So I also feel that no one has the story that you have. You are unique, and you are unique, and your story is unique, and no one can tell your story better than you. So building an online presence has changed your game, my game, and I hope everyone can start building their personal branding as well. Talking about personal branding and online presence, I have so much respect for you. I forgot to tell this story, you know, before. So when we were in Dubai, and I was seeing this person, that didn't lose any opportunity to showcase what's happening, not even a second. She was having fun, but at the same time thinking about what content she's going to post, how this story is going to be interesting for her audience. And one thing that stood out to me is when you were in Dubai, the Future Museum, the Museum of the Future, when you walked across a machine and it said that you were pregnant, and you posted, and I still remember that. how being authentic yourself, how being funny and showcasing those simple elements stands out. But does this come under pressure for Cass about constantly posting and not being there and enjoying?
Yes, it always feels a little bit like I should leave the phone, leave the camera, and not record and just leave it. But I also think to myself, this is my job, and I rather do this than to be okay. There's nothing wrong with having a regular job, let's say regular job, 9 to 5, sitting in a desk. That's completely fine if you like that. For me, it's not the lifestyle that I want. So if I have to sometimes record everything I do to have this lifestyle, then I think it's okay. I pay for it, you know. Also, I try to make it as light as possible and see it with different eyes instead of thinking, oh, I need to record, you know. So sometimes I will set up a tripod, or I will record whatever I need to record and then put the phone down. There's always ways, but the main thing is to think this is my job and I love my job, so that's why I enjoy it. It's okay if I need to miss something because I'm recording, because I'm not really missing it. People, that's the perception that people have, that I'm missing it, but I enjoy it still. I'm recording it, but I'm still enjoying it, and even more because later on someone will watch it and will make them feel something.
And thank you for sharing this, because this is something that people on the other side of the camera doesn't know, or people like me who doesn't create as much content as you do doesn't realize that this brings you joy, and that's why you do it. So thank you for sharing that. And this is something we're getting into the zone where it's personal for me, personal for you, and personal for so many people. It's not all beds and roses in content creation. It's not all love and Cass is awesome and Cass is pretty and Cass is amazing dancer. There comes hate with this. So how do you handle hate? And how does young people that are creating content, how should they handle hate?
How to handle with hate? There's not really a right or wrong answer to it. This is what I do, right? I sometimes ignore it. Sometimes it affects me, and I take it with me to my therapy session, and I ask myself, and I talk about why this makes me feel like this. Like, I try to question why they have the power to make me feel like that. Sometimes I reply with sarcasm. That works very well. And sometimes I reply with love. That makes them more mad. So it really depends on how you want to handle it. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that. But it's something that you have to accept, that this will come with that, unfortunately.
As someone that travels so much all the time, as an outsider, it looks so great and so wonderful. But being an actual insider is something else. Have you ever thought about a retreat? Some of your time staying, like, in one safe space, recharging your energy with the people that you like and people that you want to be around with. Have you ever thought about a retreat?
Yes, yes, yes. For many, many, many times, I want to make a surf camp for girls, because I always get messages like, Kaz, I want to learn how to surf. And I live in a surf town, so it's beautiful. Why I haven't done it? Because there's many things going on before, more important priority. But if everything goes well, perhaps this year, at the end of this year or beginning of next year, I will make my surf camp for girls that want to learn how to surf, to disconnect, to connect. And I've always wanted to, on the online thing, make it personal, like in real life. because when I meet people that follow me and they're like, oh, I love you, I love your content, and they hug me, it's like it's such a different energy than just reading someone online, right? So yeah, definitely having a real life connection. It's one
Can't
of
wait
my
to see that post of your online retreat. It's going to be fun. It's going to be full of dance, surfing, and all of this. I can't wait. Cass, we're coming to the last part of the podcast. Do you think if someone wants to get that job, someone wants to get that promotion, someone wants to start their business, focusing on their personal brand and showcasing it online, will it improve? Will it improve their chances of doing all of these?
1,000%. We are in the digital era, and social media and the web is such a powerful tool that I think if you're not using it, you're missing so much. So definitely, even if you're not a content creator, it's not about making content or being an influencer. It's about putting yourself out there, right? Even with LinkedIn, put your curriculum out there if you want to get the job. Start a business. If you start a business, make content to make it, pop.
Cass, thank you for being super vulnerable, sharing the beautiful story of your childhood, of the love you have for your dog and how he saved you, and the beautiful story of how your content creation started in a cruise to now becoming a content creator known all over the world, to wanting to help women and young girls to learn surfing and to start a retreat. This tells a lot about your journey and your online presence. I want to personally thank you for taking the time to be a part of this podcast.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for the space. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the time. It has been lovely, and I can't wait to see you in person again.
Amazing. To all our listeners, if you want to follow Cass, we're going to put all of our Cass's social media handle in the description below. And if you like this podcast, please follow us on LinkedIn, Spotify, YouTube. Until next time, this is Danny signing off. Have a wonderful rest of the day, whichever part of the world you are from. Thank you very much.